All right, joining me now is the Deputy CEO for the U.S. Agency for Global Media, where she's cleaning up all the waste, fraud, and abuse. I'm always happy to bring back Kari Lake on the show. Kari, really, really good to speak to you. If we could we jump into what's going on with Governor Newsom? Now, we've been watching Governor Newsom. He's kind of developing this digital strategy, the podcast. But what strikes us and strikes me, and correct me if I'm wrong, he has no policy. He has no policy. He's got, if you were to ask me what Governor Newsom stands for, I'm not really sure, except for one thing. He hates Trump. And for whatever reason, that is really resonating with Democrats. So what are your thoughts on Newsom, and what do you know about him?
Well, I think there's a certain amount of intelligence. He's looking at the playing field, and there's nobody going into the next election who's a Democrat with name recognition, and he sees an opening for himself. I mean, here's his big problem. He has literally destroyed everything that we once used to love about California. The beauty of California has been destroyed with the blight of severe homelessness. We've seen the streets, which are a mess with human excrement on them, with people literally dying on the streets. Once beautiful areas, even places like Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive, aren't safe anymore. Crime is out of control. The economy has hit the skids in California. You've had a mass exodus of people who've left. I can go on and on. The fires that burned down beautiful neighborhoods, and now people can't rebuild their homes. I could go on and on. He is literally the reason for the phrase, "Don't California my Arizona," or "Don't California my insert the state." I mean, this guy has been so bad at what he's done, his job, that he has spawned that phrase. But yet he's looking at the playing field in 28 and saying, who else is going to jump in? The Democrat Party is in free fall. And policies have been absolutely horrendous, laughable in some cases when it comes to ridiculous things like Tampon Tim wanting tampons in men's bathrooms. I mean, the kind of stuff they've pushed on us over the past 8, 10, 15 years, it's literally the party of crazy. It's absolutely insane. And so I just think he sees an opening, and he's thinking, if I'm going to throw punches at President Trump, it'll get me attention, and it sure has gotten him attention. There's
another story that's brewing. Obviously, Trump sent the National Guard to D.C., nationalized their police force. I think he's got 30 days, and then he's got to go to Congress to see if he can get some more, because it's a district. It's a federal district. It's not a state. He's promised to send National Guard now to cities like Chicago. Governor Pritzker, J.D. Pritzker, says, don't you dare do that. How does this play out, Kari? How do you think this fight plays out?
Well, I want to let you know, I'm here in Washington, D.C., and a city that's in the past been incredibly unsafe, but dangerous city, now has a feeling that I can't even describe. I mean, I feel like I'm back home where I grew up in Iowa, where the streets are safe. And there are small groups of National Guard members. I will tell you, I've done it myself. I've gone up to them and said, thank you. Thanks for protecting us and helping keep the peace and keep the streets safe. And I see other people going up and thanking them as well, thanking the police for the extra patrols. And the city is safe. You can walk at night. I take my dog out for a walk at night down to the monuments, and it's just, it's absolutely safe. I think every city, taxpayers and citizens should be able to walk at night, should be able to walk during the day and not have to worry about being raped, robbed, murdered by thugs that are out on the street. So I think this is incredible. And I'm from Arizona. I'm an Arizonan, and I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say, why is Arizona not on the list of this? And I reached out to the president and said, I'm getting a lot of requests from people in Arizona who say places like Tucson and Phoenix are not safe. Arizona's not safe. Why are they being left off the list? And he said, Kari, I'll add them to the list. So he's looking at making sure that citizens across this country are safe in their communities. And if the radicals who are running these states and communities will not keep their citizens safe, then I think it is the job of our government that we pay taxes into to help protect us.
Yeah. Kari, do us a favor, if you don't mind. We were kind of pushed back with President Trump in the Oval Office, that unplanned, or at least unnoticed, not notifying us about that. Could you stay for a quick 2.5-minute break and stay with us for backside of the break?
You bet.
We are back with the great Kari Lake. And Kari, last time you were here, we We talked about Voice of America, and you said you were having a bit of a tough time because it's hard to get these people out, number one. Number two, it's hard to change the editorial of the message. And, I'm just doing just a little, thumbnail research with the help of ChatGPT, our best friend. The mission is to provide reliable news information to audiences worldwide, serving as a voice for freedom and democratic principles, especially in regions where free media is suppressed, funded by the U.S. government and through Congress, et cetera, programming. It produces content across various platforms, including digital. Here's my point. Put me in charge. Kari, tap me. I'll do it for free. I'll do it for a penny. Make it a penny. Just say I'm paying. I'll do it for a penny. And I will get such freedom and liberty broadcast around the globe to the 350 million people worldwide who listen to it daily. Why are we having such a hard time? Where's the holdup? Is it Congress?
Well, first of all,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Don't believe those numbers. Once again, government numbers aren't always accurate. And the bottom line is we, due to an executive order, are boiling this agency down to its statutory minimum. So we're not doing 50 different languages anymore. Statutorily, only 4 languages are required by law, and the president, in an executive memo to reduce the burden and the expansiveness of the federal bureaucracy, has called for reducing this agency and others down to its statutory minimum. Basically, what is the minimum amount that's required by law for this agency? And so we are boiling it down, and that's 4 languages we're doing. We're broadcasting in Mandarin, we're broadcasting to Iran, and we're broadcasting to Afghanistan. And those are we're Pashto, Dari, Farsi, and Mandarin are and Spanish for our Office of Cuba Broadcasting. That's what we're broadcasting right now. And so this isn't an agency where we're putting on shows like yours, although I think your show is incredible. Our goal is to pinpoint certain demographics in certain countries and tell America's story. In the past, it hasn't been done well. In the past, rather than being in alignment with our policies and our national security policies, there have actually been reports that have been anti-American that have gone out at the taxpayer's expense, by the way. So we're in the process of right-sizing this agency, not growing it. I've trimmed and cut a lot of the staff and the workforce, and we're scaling things back to adhere to and effectuate the president's executive order.
So the editorial side of it, is that still difficult for you to get to pivot back to center right?
It's hard to believe. I mean, even on your network, if somebody went out and started to spew just crazy stuff that was completely against our country, the management would have a word with them and maybe yank them off the air. And at this agency, literally, somebody could go on today and put out the most heinous anti-American garbage on the air. And in my role, overseeing the agency, I could not pick up the phone and stop them, because they have set up in a midnight, they snuck this into the NDAA at midnight, and it got passed. They snuck in this editorial firewall, which prevents anybody like me in management from having a say at what they're doing editorially.
Just take us through that again. Who snuck in, and what was that process? Because I know how important this is. Let's call it what it is. It's pro-freedom, pro-democratic. Let's call it propaganda, because it really is, because there's so much of it going around the other way, coming at us from everywhere. Why not counter it with our own pro-America propaganda? But how did this firewall get put up? Who built it?
Well, some of the usual players in the swamp snuck it into an NDAA, and the president that vetoed that, it was during President Trump's first admin, he vetoed it, but they overruled the veto. And so it got snuck in, where they put this editorial firewall. This is not and they want to say they're an independent agency. They need to check where their paycheck is coming from. It's coming from the United States federal government. What that means is that the United States taxpayer is footing the bill. And we are doing what the president has asked in his March 14th executive order, which is to bring this agency to its minimum, which is what is required by statute. Nothing more, nothing less. Mm-hmm. And then he's also called for, in his budget, is eliminating the agency. So I'm here working to effectuate that. There's places we can take what's valuable in this agency, and I believe it would be best fit under the Department of State, where then we could make sure what's going out over the airwaves to other countries is at least in alignment with what our national security policies are. That's what makes sense. And I bet there's nobody out there watching that can argue what we're putting out that's being paid for by the taxpayer should be in alignment with our national priorities and our national policy. And right now the policy is about peace. And so we want to put out pro-American, pro-peace ideas and topics and talk about that. And that's, I think, what's going out right now. But it's definitely in a reduced, scaled back size from this agency before, due to what is just statutorily required. So rare, Eric, in D.C. for any agency to ever be right-sized. So, you know, in D.C. they just grow. And once it's mission accomplished and they're done, they never say, okay, we can scale back now because we've accomplished what we needed to in this country or with this language. Now we can scale that back and focus on something else. They never want to do that until a man named Donald J. Trump stepped foot in the Oval Office and said, it's time that we reduce the size of the federal bureaucracy or we won't survive as a country. And we're in the process of doing that.
You're amazing. You are absolutely amazing, Kari Lake. We're so fortunate to have you there. I mean, State Department, what a brilliant idea to move Voice America to the State Department. And wow, phenomenal.
5 lawsuits. We're facing 5 lawsuits right now, and a judge is trying to force us to put more 1990s style TV on the air.
I saw that.
And
he's trying to censor Trump from Trump's trying to stop it, and the judge say no, go back to doing the garbage that they've been spewing for the last couple. Too long. Kari, really good to have you. Get you back again soon. I would absolutely love to have you even in a higher position, maybe in the State Department. Who knows? Kari Lake, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.